Connection. Okay.
Hey Bree, will you watch the video in like 10 minutes and make sure it's still happening?
I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, welcome to yoga. It's Friday, noon. So, we made it through the week. Proud of you. You did it. I feel like a lot of people are able to use this platform as a way to like speak about what's happening right now. And honestly, like I have a lot of things to say and a lot of things that I'm feeling, but I really like for this platform and this 60-minute practice to just be a time not to ignore what's going on, but to really focus on moving the body around and organizing the energy and the breathing so that we can like face what's going on with a sense of spaciousness. It's really the same idea when we try and meditate. So it's not trying to like block out all of the other thoughts that are happening. It's much more about making enough space so that we can allow for all those other thoughts to be there and exist as well, right? You don't want to shut off, you don't want to lock out, but you do want to make space so that you can hold a lot. Okay, so let's just start with a couple of breaths, kind of get on the same page. And as always, I have a Venmo account. I think I'm David Rosenblatt 5 on that. I'm accepting donations for your financial support on that because this situation has taken away my one of my main sources of livelihood. But if you don't feel comfortable or if you don't have the means to make that sort of contribution, I would love for you to share this video on your feed or like take a little screenshot or shout me out. Yes, that being said, let's start breathing together. Okay, so sit up in a way that's comfortable, shoulders over the hips, belly soft, spine long, jaw relaxed. Take these first few moments to just notice the quality of breath as it is right now. And it can be a tricky thing to do to start to observe and notice your breath without like doing things to it. Just watch like you're watching a movie. Witnessing, but not participating. Maybe take note of any sounds occurring around you. And remembering not trying to block anything out, but focusing your attention on the breath and bringing that to the forefront of the experience. Notice the inhales and the exhales. So we'll go through a few breaths together. This one, calming breathing. Start by exhaling, empty out your lungs. Keep the mouth closed. Inhale through your nose for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold your breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. Mouth stays closed. Exhale through the nose. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Inhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath at full. This gathered energy, this gathered potential. Slowly exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold the breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. Inhale. Feel full at the top, feel buoyant, feel lifted, space between the ribs, relax the jaw. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let that go. Resume normal breathing in and out through your nose. Okay, so we'll move on. Lie down onto your back. If you're up onto a block, remove the block. Just lie down in a way that you can get the shoulders and the hips stacking. For these purposes, we're going to bend the knees, feet onto the floor, place your hands to your low belly, middle fingers touching right a couple of inches below your belly button. So the hands are really wrapped onto the core. Now from here, take an inhale and feel the torso kind of push into your palms, so it's like expanding. And then as you exhale, feel the palms slowly push back into the torso. One more time, inhale, feel that expansion around the side waist. And as you exhale, feel that cinching and that hugging in feeling. Okay, keep breathing. Just lift your heels off the floor so your shins are parallel to the floor. So now that the feet are no longer on the floor, you've lost some stability, and we're going to compensate for that lack of stability in the feet by drawing more attention to the core. So this is beginning the core work of the practice. Hands stay at the low belly so you remember to cinch in. Now keep the 90-degree angle at your right knee. Don't let the heel drop. And take your right toes down to the floor, little toe tap, and then lift your thigh bone back up in space. Put your left toe back down to the floor, and then lift that thigh bone up in space. So you're just going to kind of walk the legs out, right foot and left foot. Try and keep that 90-degree angle at your knee. Don't let the heel collapse towards the floor. And if you want to make it a bit more challenging, you can increase the angle, just don't decrease it less than 90 degrees. Keep drawing the navel up and in. Have a sense of the tailbone tucking a bit so that the front body is engaged. And hopefully you're beginning to feel some warming up around the core, these areas around the hips wrapping into the center as we sort of highlight and light up this core, which you can take with you throughout the entire practice. And the stronger we can get this low body, the more stability we'll get in the shoulders and everywhere else. Okay, stop with the heels in line, so you're getting this 90-degree angle. And then with your right thigh bone, I just want you to find some circles here. So moving your thigh bone around in space, but notice that the shin is not collapsing towards the floor. The shin stays parallel to the floor. It's just your thigh bone, the femur, kind of spinning around. Now what can help you stabilize? Put your right hand to the floor, put your left hand to your left hip, and just let the thigh bone move around on the right leg. Notice that the pelvis or the hips are kind of flopping around. Still the movement. Isolate just the thigh bone for 3. Circle the other way a few times, 2. For 2. And 1. Come back to the center. Right hand to the right hip. Left hand to the floor, palm face down. And then slowly begin to spin your left thigh bone. Again, try and keep that 90-degree angle at your knees. Really spinning the thigh bone into the pelvis. Circle the other way a few times, 2. Normal for the quads to get worked here. And then back to the center, and then just find some free movement with both legs. Both hands to the hips, so you're steady in the pelvis, not sliding right and left, but steady. And the thigh bones kind of spinning around, like you're in outer space. Maybe even the hands up too. So movement with the limbs, stability through the core. Right, you earn this movement with the limbs by getting stable and dug in through the core. Okay, back to the center. Place the feet down to the floor. Push your feet down, lift your hips up, take a little bridge pose. And then as you exhale, lower the hips back down. 2 more times like that. Push the feet down, lift your hips up. Inhale. And exhale, lower down. Last one to hold, so push the feet down, lift your hips up. And then breathe here. Doesn't need to be the deepest one, but just imagine your knees drawing forward in space and like you're sliding your heel bones up towards your shoulders. For 3, 2, slowly lower down and feel your glutes and your hamstrings engaged until you hit the floor. Okay, bend the knees into the chest and take a little roll left and right. So feel the low back onto the floor as you roll left and right. Roll a little up and down. And then we'll hit the tabletop pose. So cross your ankles and stack your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. Okay, from this position, drop the belly, lift the chin, arch the back. And as you exhale, curl the spine. Another inhale drops the belly, lifts the chin, arching. And exhale, curl. Okay, one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Tuck your toes, bring your hips back to your heels. Now what you're going to do is push your hips forward, put your right hand to your right heel, reach your left arm up, and take a little reach over to the right side of the room. Then put your butt back to your heel, so you put your left hand to your left heel, push into the tops of the feet to lift the hips up and stretch and reach across the other way. So move through this a few times. I like to keep the toes tucked because then my heels are higher up and it gives me something steady to hold on to, or somewhat steady. But it's much more about the reaching up than it is about the pushing down. Just asking this front body to open up after we just kind of worked it. Last one. And then back to the tabletop pose. Shoulders, wrists, hips, knees. Take an inhale, take the right leg back in space. As you exhale, draw the knee to the nose. On the next inhale, take the leg back. Exhale again, knee to the nose, curling. One more time, inhale, look forward. Exhale, knee to the nose. Good, take the leg back. Take your right foot to the outside of your right wrist. Tuck your back toes. Shoot off that back foot and tuck your left ankle behind the right ankle. Try and stay low in the hips, high in the arms. Welcome to the back of your right leg and your glute. Put your hands down, left shin down. Inhale, reach the right leg back. Knee to the nose, exhale. 2 more times. Inhale, leg back. Step the foot outside of the wrist, tuck the back toes. Shoot forward, ankle tap. Low in the hips, high in the arms maybe. Hands down, left leg back. Last one. Right leg back, knee to the nose. Inhale, leg back. Step the foot forward, tuck the toes, do the little ankle tap, stay low in the butt, high in the heart. Hands down, left shin down. Inhale, leg back. Exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, take the leg back, and back to your tabletop. Move the hips around clockwise, spin them around. Move them around counterclockwise too. And we'll get into it on the left side. So, left leg back, inhale. Knee to the nose, exhale. Inhale, leg back, look forward, keep your ribs hugging in. Exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, take the leg back, steady palms. Knee to the nose, exhale. Take your leg back. Now step your foot to the outside of your left wrist. Tuck your back toes, scoot off that foot, get the ankles kind of tapping, and begin to find your balance here. Maybe you can throw the arms up, maybe that's too much and you keep the hands down. But begin to feel the work in the back of the left leg. Put your right shin down, hands down. Inhale, leg back, knee to the nose, exhale. Inhale, leg back, foot outside of the wrist, tuck the back toes, ankle tap. Hands down, right shin down. Inhale, leg back, knee to the nose first, curling. Inhale, leg back, foot outside of the wrist, ankle tap, stay low. Last one, right shin down. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, leg back, foot outside of the wrist, stay low, ankle tap. Hands down, right shin down, inhale. Knee to the nose as you exhale. Put the shin back down. Spin the hips a few times clockwise and counterclockwise. Okay, so warming up the legs, let's warm up the arms. From your tabletop, shoulders, wrists, I want you now to shift your weight forward so the shoulders go over the fingertips and shift the weight back, shoulders over the wrists. 2 more times, shift it forward and back. Last one, shifting it forward and back. Flip your fingers so your fingers face your knees. Tuck your toes and send the hips back and forward and back and forward. Back and forward. Last 2, shifting it back and forward. Last one, back and forward. Okay, flip the fingers so that now they're facing forward. Now go to your plank pose, so lengthen out your legs. Steady in those palms, shoulders over the wrist like you were still on tabletop. Now I want you to shift your shoulders over your fingertips and bring them back over your wrists. So shift the shoulders forward and back. Last one, shifting the shoulders forward and back. Okay, flip your palms. So you're in the plank pose with the palms flipped the other way. If that hurts too much, you can go sideways and that's fine too. And concentrate. Lift the belly up and in, tuck the tailbone a bit so you're not collapsing, but you're engaging in the front. Now everyone push into the palms for 3. Look forward if you can. 2. 1. If the fingers are flipped, flip them back to normal and take a downward facing dog. First downward facing dog, paddle out the feet, nice juicy bends in the knees. And you should feel some stretch in your legs because we definitely worked the hamstrings, we worked the glutes. So now we stretch them out a bit, and it should feel like a rich stretch. Okay, so from your down dog, line it up, go to your plank pose, shoulders over the wrists, legs steady. Without moving your hands or the feet, just go back to down dog. So the knees bent generously as you push into the palms. Really stick your tailbone up and back so it's a rich fold at your hip. Like someone's got a bar here and they're pulling you back as you push into the palms. Or like a teacher might adjust you and they take your hips and they begin to pull you back, but you stay pushing into the palms. Okay, so move between your down dog and your plank pose. And your down dog, inhale to plank. Exhale to down dog. One more time, inhale to plank. And exhale to downward facing dog. Okay, walk your feet up to your hands at the top of the mat and find this forward fold. Feet hip width, grab your elbows, fold chest to the thighs, head heavy. Breathe. Like your life depended on it, because it does. So chest onto the thighs, like a real shelf here so that this back can relax. If you're trying to straighten your legs, you will curl the back and it will grip, and we don't want that. It's the same thing in the down dog. So knees bend, space in the back, space for the hamstrings. And in time, you try and stretch the legs a bit, but keep the rich fold at the hips. Slowly roll up through your spine, stacking your bones until you're upright, shoulders, hips, heels, in line. And you thought I'd take it easy on Friday? No. Friday, we're going hard because we get the weekend off and then back on Monday. So, toes and heels together, thumbs in towards your chest. Inhale, stretch, reach the arms over the head, and as you exhale, forward fold at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, put a little back bend in the spine, and as you exhale, hands down, feet back to your plank pose. From here, drop your knees to the floor like we did before. Shift your shoulders forward over the fingertips. Bend at your elbows, try and get a 90-degree bend at the elbows. Then push into your palms, straighten the arms, tops of the feet down, heart up, shoulders back. Push into the palms, think of the crown of the head reaching up towards the ceiling, and then downward facing dog. Belly up and in to take you back. From the downward facing dog, everyone inhale through your nose. Open the mouth, exhale. Look in between the hands, step, hop, float to the top. As you inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep, reach the arms up, steady in your feet. Exhale, hands to the heart. Good. Even here, palms together. Maybe you lift your elbows in line with your wrists. Maybe you tuck the tailbone a bit and feel the core engage. Inhale, reach up, back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, hands down, feet back. You can do this with or without the knees, but I do want you to shift your shoulders forward so when you bend your elbows, your forearms do not drop back. The elbows stay over the wrists. Inhale, up dog or cobra, steady. Downward facing dog when you're ready. Bend the knees, but as you bend your knees, still try and bring your heels to the floor so you got two directions. Inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale. Okay, step, hop, float to the top of the mat. On the next inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. And as you exhale, fold deeply. Push your feet down, reach your arms up. Hands to the heart. Last one. Inhale, go up to go back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, put some space in there. And then exhale, hands down, feet back. Move through your vinyasa. If you need to, you just skip it to downward facing dog. Outer arms wrap in, inner biceps draw forward. Like you're trying to draw the wrists towards one another. Look in between the hands, step, hop, float to the top. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Sweep the arms up, steady feet. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good. So maybe you can hear my dog barking right now. And that's part of it, right? We're not trying to be like, no, dog, don't bark. But like, do your thing. And also we'll do our thing. And we can all do our things together. Inhale, sweep the arms up, life lessons. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Hands down, feet back. You can move through the vinyasa or downward facing dog. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Once you're in the down dog, I want you to take your right leg up and then open up the hip. If you love to bend your leg here, work with your leg straight. And if you always work with your leg straight, bend your knee. Finding some movement in the low body, steady in your palms. Inhale the leg back, step the foot in between the hands. Seal the edge of the back foot down, warrior one pose. Begin to reach your arms up in space. Breathe. One more inhale here, reach up. And as you exhale, hands down to frame your foot. Right leg back to the plank. You can move through your vinyasa or skip it to downward facing dog. When you're ready, take your left leg up. And then open up the hip. Again, if you always bend the knee, try and really work with your leg straight and see what that does. If you're pretty tight and you're still working with a straight leg, bend your right leg as you straighten your left leg, so the hips can still be somewhat square. Not easy. Bending's an option too. Inhale, take the leg back. Think knee to nose, put the foot between the hands, seal the edge of the back foot down, warrior one, arms up. A few breaths here. Now if you're like me and you have like a collapsed arch in your foot, like flat feet, you really have to concentrate on the outer edge of your right foot rooting down, so that the inner right leg has a sense of lifting. Like you could check my right foot when I don't do anything, and when I start to engage through the foot, lifting the inner thigh, making space along the pelvis. Inhale, hands down as you exhale, left foot back, vinyasa, or skip it to downward facing dog. Okay, bend the knees, look in between the hands, step, hop, float, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sweep the arms up, hands to the heart. So now bend your knees for chair pose. If you're not quite sure how much to bend your knees, it's like the fingers could graze the floor. Once you get the knees bent this much, arms float. Keep the weight back into the heels. Draw the tailbone back, but lift your sternum bone up. And then forward fold, straight the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, hands down, feet back, vinyasa, or skip it to downward facing dog. Okay, just for a second, because I know we're doing a lot of vinyasas, knees down, hips to the heels, extend your arms out, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. Sometimes I do this in the warm-up and then we don't do a lot of vinyasas, but I know we are doing them today, so let's warm up the hands and wrists just a bit more. Then the palms open, and then they really open. So open and really open, about 20 times. Try not to move everything else, keep everything still, just the hands. Open, 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 open. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Interlace your fingers, roll your wrists. Roll them the other way too a few times. Okay, downward facing dog, palms steady, energy through those wrists. Inhale, take the right leg up. As you exhale, step the foot through. Warrior one on the inhale, warrior two on the exhale. So inhale back to warrior one, feel the hips square. Exhale, warrior two, feel the hips open. One more time, square the hips off. Exhale, warrior two. Now straighten your right leg, put the palms up over your head. And as you exhale, bend the right knee, go back to warrior two. Inhale, reach up, straighten the right leg. Exhale, bend it to warrior two. Last one, in and out. Reverse warrior, reach forward, reach up, reach back. And then when you exhale, cartwheel your hands down, shoot the right leg back, vinyasa or skip it to downward facing dog. Left leg goes up as you inhale. Step the foot in between the hands. Warrior one on the inhale. Warrior two on the exhale. So between those two positions, warrior one, spin the hips, reach up. Exhale, feel that right thigh bone rotate. Inhale, right thigh bone internally rotates. Exhale, right thigh bone externally rotates. Last one in and out. Now straighten left leg, palms up over the head. And as you exhale, bend into the knee, warrior two. Inhale, reach up, steady the feet. Exhale, warrior two. One more, inhale and exhale. Reverse, go forward first, reach up second, and reach back third. Making space. When you're ready, cartwheel the hands down, frame the foot, left leg back, vinyasa, or skip it to downward facing dog. From the down dog, bend the knees, step, hop, float, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding. Sweep the arms up, reach up. Oh, but bend your knees, back to the chair pose. Gotta end like we started. For 3, weights back into the heels, sternum light, 2. And straighten the legs, hands to the heart center, 1. Let's just do a bit of balancing here. So I want you to shift your weight to your left foot, lift the right leg up. So your right knee and your right hip are pretty much in the same line. Flex your right toes, push your left foot down, hug the belly in and up. Like we did before on the floor, put your left hand to your left hip, and with your right thigh bone, find some circles. Notice that the heel is not moving, it's the thigh bone moving. If anything, think of your right shin staying parallel to the screen. Circle the other way a few times too. Steady in your left leg. If it's challenging for you and you're falling, good, this is a good pose for you. The slower, the better. For 3, 2, holding stillness at the end, 1, and then change. Put your right foot down, lift your left leg up. Think thigh bone parallel to the floor, left shin parallel to the screen. Basically, right leg straight, right hand, right hip. Left thigh bone, begin to find some circles. Make sure on that circling that your knee's going above your hip, not just low. You want to get high so that you can really start to work your hip. Circle the other way a few times too. Back to the center, back to the stillness for 3. Steady in your right foot, 2, 1. Toes and heels together. Inhale, reach up, push your feet through the floor. And as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. And as you exhale, hands down, feet back to the plank position. Now things start to get fun. Shoulders over the wrists, steady palms. So careful not to shrug your shoulders, push into your palms, and lift your spine up between the shoulder blades. Now, from here, you're going to take your heels over to the right so that your 10 toes are all facing towards the left. Both of the palms stay on the floor. We're not doing side plank yet. Begin to drop and lower your right hip. Now push into your palms, lift the belly back up and in, and lift the heels back up in line with the toe mounts. Then take your heels over to the left and begin to lower the left hip, push into the palms, lift the belly up and in, heels steady. Heels to the right, drop the right hip, push to lift yourself back up. Heels over to the left, drop the left hip, push to lift it back up. 2 more. Heels to the right, drop the hip, push to lift it up through your navel. Heels to the left, drop the left hip, lift the belly up and in, back to the center. Last one. Heels to the right, lower, push to lift it back up. Heels to the left, hip lower, push to lift it back up. All right, keep your toes tucked. From this plank pose, drop the hips, draw your heart forward, lift the crown of the head up, and then go back to plank pose. Belly up and in, push into the palms. Drop the hips, draw the chest forward, sternum up, look forward. Exhale, push into the palms, feel the navel lift back, the plank. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, you could drop your knees if you need to. Bend at your elbows, shift forward. Chaturanga. 5, 4, keep that tailbone long. 3, belly draws up and in. 2, straighten out your arms. 1. So plank pose with or without the help of your knees. 30-second hold. Steady palms. Fill the space between the shoulders with your spine. Sides of the neck long. Try and ride the wave of your breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Put your knees down. Take your right leg forward. Half splits. You earned it. Reach your arms up. And as you exhale, fold over the leg. Oh, jeez. That one is hard. You wouldn't expect it to be hard for someone as bulky as I am, but that's hard. So again here, note that the left leg, the hip is stacked over the knee. I'm not sitting back onto my heel. And you adjust the front leg however much you need to. Try and flex the toes evenly, inhaling, lengthening, and exhaling, folding. Now you might try and get a little more intense in this if you can handle it. It's the sense that you want to bend your right knee, but you can't because the floor is in the way. So drive the heel down and breathe. So it's really active. You're actually flexing your hamstring. Keep breathing like you're dragging your heel back in space for 3, 2, and then soften into that stretch. Ease up on that gripping. Okay, so go back, take your right leg back, and guess what? We're gonna go back to that plank pose because we only did we gotta get to the half splits on the other side. So, from this plank, heels to the left, drop the left hip. Push into your palms, lift the hips back up. Heels to the right, drop the right hip. Push into your palms, lift the belly back up. Heels to the left to drop, push to lift it back up. Heels to the right, hip drops, push to lift it back up. 2 more. Heels left, drop, back to the center. You can do it with your knees down. Hips right, push, lift yourself back up. Last one. Hips left, push, lift back up. Heels right, drop, push, and lift it back up. From your plank pose, modified upward facing. So, draw your heart forward like the arms frame the torso. Push it back to plank pose. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, lift it back up, steady. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale, inner arm spinning forward. Inhale. Exhale, outer arm spinning back. Last one, inhale. Exhale, plank. From your plank, chaturanga. Bend the knees. That's an order. Bend your knees to do this one. Keep those elbows bent. Keep the elbows forward over your wrist. For 3, tuck your tailbone. Push into the palms. 2, straighten out your arms. Okay, plank pose. If you got it in you, hold the plank 30 seconds. Jimmy, I'm counting on you, doc. Steady palms. Sides of the neck long. Breathing in and out through the nose. Rhoda, same thing. I expect you in this plank pose. 30 seconds. Knees down if you need to. 5, 4, belly up and in. 3, 2, 1. Knees down, left leg scooted forward. Before you collapse, reach your arms up, make space. And then forward fold, half splits. Oh, so a lot of energy in the shoulders. A lot of potential. Stay in this half splits. Again, try not to sink back too far. Think right thigh bone parallel to the front. Moving the left heel however much forward you need to. If you're pretty flexible, try reaching up like this as you drive the left heel down. So this is a passive stretch. We have an opportunity now to make it more active if you'd like. So I really want you to drive the heel bone through the floor and imagine like you could drag it back in space. Imagine like you could do this action, but the floor is in the way, stopping you. Heel down, chest up, breathe. Like you're flexing back and this left hamstring is your bicep. Three, 2, 1. Inhale, lift your chest up, and then forward fold a little more back to the passive stretch. And sometimes you gotta kind of get into the belly of the muscle, activating it so that it can release. Okay,
Sneak the leg back, downward facing dog. Steady palms, pedal out the feet a little bit. Inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale. Okay, good. Put your knees down to the floor and walk forward a little bit. So you sit the hips to the heels, toes are tucked. Edge a little bit towards the front of your mat, actually. So from this position, you're going to pop up off the knees and put the heels down to the floor and reach your arms up for a chair pose. If you can't do that, use your hands to help you draw back. But if you don't need your hands, go back to the heels, lift up chair pose. From this chair pose, shift the weight to your left foot, straighten your left leg, and bend your right knee towards your chest. Now take that lifted leg behind you for a high lunge pose. From this high lunge, drop the right knee down to the floor. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, straighten the leg out, and then bring the right knee back up into the chest, back down to the chair pose, and then lower down to the knees. Good. Back to the heels, knees lift, straighten your right leg, lift your left knee in. Take the left leg back, lower the knee down. Straighten the leg back out, left knee up and into the chest, straighten your right leg, back to the chair pose, lower down. That's one, we got two more. Back to the heels, knees lift, chair, right knee up and into the chest. Extend the leg behind you, drop the knee down. Straighten out that leg, right knee up and into the chest, back to the chair, and lower to the knees. Bring it back to the heels, lift the left knee in, extend the leg back, drop the knee down. Lift the back leg up, lift the knee into the chest, back to the chair, and lower the knees down. Last one, back weight, heels, right knee up, right leg long behind you, knee to the floor. Straighten your right leg to lift the knee, then lift the knee up and into your chest, lower to the chair, lower the knees. Lift the knees, weights back to the heels, left knee into the chest. Extend the leg behind you, put the knee down, straighten the leg out to lift the knee up, back to the chair pose, and lower down to the floor. And cross your ankles, and lie down, and take some breaths. Clearly, not just for me, but maybe just for me. Even here, in a pretty relaxed moment, a pretty casual moment in the practice, can you still tune your attention to the breath? Okay, bend the knees into the chest. Take a little side to side, a little forward, back, rolling up and down the spine. Cross the ankles, legs behind you, downward facing dog. From the downward dog, inhale the right leg up. Exhale to step the foot through. Now reach your arms up and take high lunge pose. So a few breaths here, maybe one hand low belly, one hand back sacrum, so you're not arching in your tailbone drawing down, pubic bone drawing up, level pelvis. Hands to the heart. Begin to reach your left arm forward. Begin to reach your right arm back in space. Try not to let the hips follow the shoulders. Think of the hips steady and just rotating in the middle and the upper spine. Bring it back to the center, reach the arms up, and then spin it open to Warrior Two pose. From your Warrior Two, just straighten out your right leg, extend through the arms, reach a little forward, and then like a clock, tick, 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 tock. Right hand, right shin, left arm up. Breathing here. In the triangle pose. So push into your right foot to draw the right leg back. And if you have a sense that your knee is pretty locked out, I want you to be able to bend your knee and straighten your leg. Work with the leg straight, but make sure it's not like hyperextended that you couldn't bend the knee if you wanted to. Keep space on that right side body, right? You got a lung there, and we want there to be space. 3, 2, bend your right knee forward, reach your arms up, take reverse warrior, stretch and reach up and back, and then cartwheel the hands down to frame your foot. Once you're there, right foot back, vinyasa, or skip it to downward facing dog. From the down dog, inhale, left leg up, then step the foot through. High lunge when you're ready. Hips steady, arms up. So make sure right and left is steady. You got 3 and 9 o'clock, but then you also got 12 and 6 o'clock. So one hand low belly, one hand sacrum, just to make sure you're not slumped forward, but it's stacked up. Tailbone down, crown of the head up. Hands to the heart and begin to take your twist. Right arm reaches forward, left arm begins to reach back. Still think of your inner left knee drawing forward in space. Try to find full breaths even in the twist. Back up to the high lunge. Open up to warrior two pose. From the warrior two, straighten the left leg. As you draw your left hip back, reach your left wrist forward. When you can't tilt your torso anymore, tilt the arms and find triangle pose. Connect from your right heel bone through the tailbone. Connect left foot onto the floor and make sure that you can bend the knee, but try and keep it straight. Maybe you take your right lifted arm, wrap it around your front torso, grab for your left ribs and draw them a bit forward in space. Then reach back up, keeping space for that left lower lung. Feel how the feet strike the floor and gather that information up through the legs, through the pelvis. Right, if you prefer one part of the foot. Okay, bend your left knee forward, lift yourself up, take reverse warrior on the inhale, cartwheel the hands down, frame your foot, move through the vinyasa or skip it to downward facing dog. Okay, from there, shift forward to the plank pose. From your plank pose, shift the shoulders forward over your fingertips, bend at your elbows, chaturanga, push the floor away, shoulders back over the wrists. Shift forward, bend at your elbows, lower down halfway, push the floor away strong, shift the shoulders back. You can do this with your knees down, it's fine. So shift forward, bend at your elbows, notice that the forearms are not drawing towards the floor, they're stacking, push the floor away, shoulders back over the wrists. That's why this move is important. Shoulders forward, bend the elbows, look forward long. Push the floor away, shoulders over the wrists. Shift it forward. As you bend your elbows, keep your tailbone tucked. Push the floor away and shift the shoulders back. 2 more, bring it forward. Bend your elbows lower down, little tuck of the tailbone. Straighten out the arms, shoulders back. Last one, forward. Bend your elbows to lower. Push the floor away strong, shoulders back. Sneak the legs back to your plank pose. Put the right hand under the center and stack the left side of your body on top of the right. Vashisthasana side plank. Push into the right palm and breathe. We're really trying to light up the core around the side of your body, the intercostal muscles. So reach the left arm up and then thread the arm through like you're reaching through. Push into your right palm, inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach through. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach through. Last one here, inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach through. Keep that inner right bicep forward. Inhale up one more time. Back to your plank pose. Shift the shoulders forward, draw the shoulders back. Left hand under the center, stack the right side of the body on top of the left. You can drop a knee down if you need to. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, reach it through the left ribs. Push into your left palm. Inhale, reach it back up. Right arm. Exhale, reach through. Push into the left palm. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, reach the arm through. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Take the inhale up. Back to the plank pose. From your plank pose, breathe. Push into the palm steady. Keep the heels over the ball mounts of the feet. Don't lift the hips too high. Don't let them sink too low. Push palms, tailbone tucks. Think pubic bone up through the face, look forward. Maybe you even start to spin your hips around as you look forward. As you spin the hips, can you keep your shoulders over your wrists? Spin the other way a few times too. Back to the plank for 3, 2, 1. Knees down, child's pose. If you like, you can put your palms together, walk your elbows in a bit, bend at your elbows, put your thumbs to your spine. Okay, place the hands down. Let's go to the tabletop pose. Reach your right arm up as you inhale. Put your right hand down as you exhale. Inhale, reach your left arm up. Exhale, place the hand down. Inhale, push left palm to reach the right arm up. Exhale, put the right hand down. Inhale, reach, stretch the left arm up. And put the left hand down. Okay, from here, tuck your toes, lift up so that you're ready for the camel pose. So let's do for the first one, let's actually put the tops of the feet onto the floor. Place your hands to your lower back. Fingers down, elbows close. Breathe. If you're feeling like, I don't want to go backwards, I'm busy, you can lift your chest and put your chin into your chest. And really focus on back bending in the middle and the middle part of your back. But if you're pretty comfortable here, you can look up. You might even begin to look back. And if you're feeling pretty flexible, you can grab for your heels. But notice here my head's not flopped back, at least not yet. Once I have the bend in all of this part of the spine, then I earn the part where I can drop my head back. But if the only part of you that's moving backwards in these backward bends is the neck, like if you're somewhere like this, you're not really doing yourself any good here, right? So chest, chin into the chest, articulate in this part of the spine first. And then when you get bendy there, then the weight of the head can really help you back a bit more. Final few breaths here. And the reason I'm able to talk somewhat is that the back body is strong, so that the front body is free and open, and my vocal cords aren't gripping. I mean, a little bit, but not crazy. Slowly make your way back up, hands to the hips if you are low. Once you're up, sit the hips to the heels, take a few breaths. Like you could just breathe into the back of the body, like the back of the spine is just lengthening. Second set, here are some options. You can work with the tops of the feet down, or you can tuck your toes. If you're like almost able to grab your feet, try tucking your toes, the heels will be a bit higher. Something easier to grab onto. You can do this with your hands at the heart. You can throw your arms up, interlace the fingers, release index, cross thumbs. If you're gonna do it this way, keep your arms by your ears. And then begin to move into your back bend. If you're just like up here, chin to chest, that's great. This is such a great start of the back bend, is to lift your sternum up. If your neck feels really floppy, you can interlace your fingers. Keep that space in the neck. Final few breaths. And slowly press your way back up. When you're up, hips down to your heels. Take a few moments. And so we'll counter the back bend with the forward bend. We'll go from camel to rabbit pose. So, bring the feet together. What you're gonna do is take your hands and hold onto your feet. The thumbs will go on the outside of the foot. The fingers will go to the inside arch of the foot. If you can't fully get the grip yet, it's okay. Lift your chest up, put your chin into your chest, keep the chin to the chest, and slowly begin to curl your spine so your forehead begins to get towards your knees. If it doesn't touch, it's okay. As long as your chin is tucked in, you're getting most of the compression. Once the crown of the head finds the floor, squeeze your heels together and start to lift your hips up. This doesn't mean put the weight into your head. This means push through your shins to lift the butt up. So chin stays tucked in. It's a big compression on the front of the spine. It's also a big extension for the back of the spine. So keep breathing here for 4. Pushing the shins down, belly up and in, 3. 2, inner heels together if you can. 1, change, put your hips down, and then slowly uncurl the spine until you're all stacked up, shoulders over the hips. Let the belly be soft, and breathe in and out through your nose. right? So we just did a big back bend, and now we're doing a big forward bend, making sure that the spine, like the central highway of the nervous system, the lanes are pretty clear. We don't want traffic to build up so signals and communication can't move. So, hands to your feet, lift your chest up, place your chin into the chest, and begin again to curl the spine. Even if you're not able to get forward to the knees, work towards that, put the crown of the head to the floor, squeeze your heels, and try and lift your hips up in space. Stay in the pose. As you're here, focus on your back. You've got a lower back, a middle back, and an upper back. And we want all three of these areas to be evenly rounded. And notice, like if you have a really good posture, like you sit up straight easily, the low back is probably not rounding that much yet. So I want you to focus your attention there. It's not going to fix it overnight or in a breath, but begin to not overdo your neck just because your low back is not able to get into it yet. 3 more seconds, keep breathing. 2, 1, and then change. Put your hips to your heels. Again, slowly curl up through the spine. Reach the arms up and place the hands to the heart. 2 more times, spin the arms up and lower the thumbs towards the chest. Last one to rotate through the shoulders, hands to the heart. Okay, cross your ankles. We're going to take the right leg out to the side. I think like instead of a 12 o'clock, take it over to 2 o'clock, left foot into the left thigh. Maybe something under your left knee, if that helps. You're gonna reach the arms up. Don't rush this moment. Reach up, feel both of your butt bones on the floor, and then forward fold over your right leg. You can do what feels best here. You can work with your legs straight, or you can bend your knee a bit. If you're bending your knee, I really want you to flex the toes. Utilize the floor, right? The floor has got your heel bone and your sit bone in a line, a perfect line. So use that to eventually get the knee into that line too. It'll take some time. Keep breathing. Noticing if you're rolling to the right, make sure that left hip is down too. 1 more inhale. And exhale. All right, slowly bring yourself up. Right leg comes in. Extend your left leg out to the side. Let's say if you're facing forward is 12 o'clock, off to the side is about 10:30. Right foot, left thigh. Reach your arms up and use this to really ground down through your seat. Pivot so your chest is in line with the middle of that left leg. And slowly find your stretch for the back of the leg. It can be active, it can be passive. Notice if the weight rolls to the left, ground down to the right side as well. Notice if you're curling into that left side, remember you got a left lung too. So inhaling and exhaling. Another breath in and out. Okay, slowly pick yourself up. Begin to extend both legs in front of you. Before we go forward, place your hands to the floor, fingers face forward. Now try and push down, so much so that the tailbone lifts off the floor. So as you push into the palms, crown of the head floats up. Try and lift the belly up and in, and draw the hips back a bit. Then lower down, the seat to the floor without curling. Still try and reach up through the crown of the head and reach your arms up too. Wrists, shoulders, hips in line. If the hips are tucking, bend your knees so you can stick the butt back a bit. And when you're ready, forward fold over your legs. Oh, and Bree taught me this today. So, bend your knees. Start to bend your knees and bring your heels closer to your butt. So much so that you can actually get your armpits onto your knees. So knees and armpits connected, hands to the feet. From there, start to walk your heels back out and keep your knees into your armpits. And pause when you need to pause. What could be nice here is if you had a block, I should have told you this before you got it all set up, is to place the head onto the block. And then just taking at least 5 breaths in this last forward fold. The thing I like about knees into the armpits is that it really makes me think about my body fitting together, and that like my body being like enough and appropriate because it can fit into itself and it could like sort itself out, and it's got place. It's got a place. There's something comforting about it. If you lost track of the breath, let's do one more. Exhale, empty your lungs. Inhale. And exhale. Okay. Slowly begin to roll up. Slowly begin to lie down. Walk the heels close to the butt. Keep the feet onto the floor. Take your knees to the left. Bring them back to the center. Take the knees to the right. And do this a few times. We'll end up with the knees facing towards the left, and maybe it's enough to just look over your right shoulder. If you want a little more, you can take the pinky toe edge of your left foot, lift it up over the outer edge of your right leg, and that could help stretch around the IT band on the right side. With the arms too, if you want, you could cactus, goalpost them. Try and get your elbows in the same line as your shoulders, on the wide, what do we call that, horizontal. Elbow, shoulder, shoulder, elbow in the same line. And then on the vertical, the wrist and the elbow in line. So again, that 90-degree angle at your elbow. Okay, take your left foot off of your right leg. Use your feet to push down to bring the knees back to the center. And if it helps you to scoot your hips a little to the left, then take the knees over to the right for this twist on this side. You can intensify it by taking the outer edge of your right foot to the outer left leg. Breathing here. And if you're still in that goalpost cactus arm, what I like to do, well, like what would be ideal is if somebody could step onto my hands. But have this idea that you're kind of waving like the Queen of England, that polite wave through the wrist, so that your forearms begin to spiral a bit. And just noticing which way that wrist wants to naturally flop. And just using this range of motion to move through all of it, not just the preferred angle. Okay, bring it back to the, well, take your foot off your knee if it was there. Take the knees back to the center. Push your feet down, lift your hips up. And then slowly lower down to the floor. So if there's any final pose you want to do before Shavasana, you can take it now. It could be another twist, a back bend, an inversion. But if you're ready for Shavasana, just lie down, legs long, palms face up. I have about 2 minutes here. Maybe too, you can work with your feet together and your knees open. You get a stretch in the inner legs and the groin. Maybe even the opposite, where you take your feet wider and you put your knees in towards one another. Those that are still in a posture, about 30 more seconds to play. And then over the course of the next few moments, final Shavasana. Allowing the legs to be long so you can feel the support of the floor. The heels, the hips, the shoulders all stacked evenly in line. This effortless alignment.